All right, how's it going, everybody? Sorry about that little delay. Andrew will join us here soon. He's getting his stuff set up. He's going to be playing Super Mario 3D All Stars over on Twitch, and so I will make you aware of that when that happens. Yeah. I guess again, thanks for anybody who showed up for the 24-hour comic. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool to have some people pop in and out and stuff. It really helped kind of keep me going and stuff like that. I'm gonna try and do one not in the next, or sooner than in the next 10 years like the last one. I think what I'm gonna do today though is I'm just gonna kind of play around with the some of the characters and just kind of maybe design them up a bit more, or at least have some sort of design thing. I'll probably try and put together some sort of deluxe PDF, quote-unquote deluxe PDF thing. That'll have kind of a more comprehensive stuff on there. But there is a an Imager link to the full 24-hour comic if you haven't seen that yet. You can find that on any of our social media stuff. There's always links down below. And you can also find that link on our 24-hour comic stream videos. So, yeah, if you like these, if you like what we do, tell a friend, interact with those links, like, subscribe, smash bell, all that stuff. It's all really cool to see, all really neat support and encouragement and stuff like that. So, let's go ahead and bring Andrew back in here. And you're back. Are you back?
I think you did that the second I went live.
Oh, cool. So you are live?
I am live. I've got your video running at the bottom.
So then
my nose is all stuffed up, which is super cool. So we're prepared to hear a lot of sniffling. And it's not because I'm crying about this baby game for babies.
Could be.
It could be, but it isn't, because I'm a big boy who can handle these controls designed for babies.
Get Andrew in here. All right, buddy, I'll draw soon. There we go. And as always, while Andrew's on here, you can always go over to our Twitch channel and see him play Super Mario 3D All Stars. As you can see, I kind of played around with the framing and stuff, so we got a little picture-in-picture there too, so you can kind of see what looks like a slideshow. We'll see how that goes. Is that really how it looks?
Is that my game? I can't really see. That is, from what I can see in my picture-in-picture, looks real choppy. Yours is smooth sailing.
And again, yours isn't even moving.
Yeah, I'm on the pause screen at the moment.
Yours is really choppy. Anyways, that's a work in progress. You couldn't even see that before. Let's see here. I'm just gonna. I think I'm just gonna kind of draw these 24-hour comic characters out a little bit more. Like I said. Hopefully that picture-in-picture works out fine at some point. Alright.
I got this running now. Oh, cool. Probably should have paid attention when I loaded this hub, because I don't know where I'm going. this how I blow this thing up? I don't think so. So what are you drawing? What's happening?
I was just gonna kind of clean up some of those 24-hour comic character designs, since they get a little bastardized in the quickness.
Have you played any
I have
Mario
not.
yet?
Kristen said she played a little bit of 64, and it was like not doing anything for her.
Yeah, I'm saving 64 for last. It's something that like I have an interest in doing just because like
It's on it. Do you have it now?
I have it, and I've started 64 a couple times. In the past, and I was always like, I'm gonna play through 64, and then I just lose interest, or the controls are just bad. I mean, it is an archaic game. But there we go. Come on. Can this not reach me? But like I played Galaxy in college and I remember really enjoying it. I have no recollection of whether I played 2 or not. I think I did, but I really don't remember.
Yeah, I only I don't think I ever really played any 64.
My brother had Sunshine, and I remember playing it, but I don't think I played a lot of it.
I had Sunshine, and it was interesting, but I think it was a little too esoteric for me at the time. She doesn't have sleeves.
I mean, I think so far, like I started with Sunshine because that's the one that I don't have a lot of recollection of. Like I said, I don't think I really played a lot of it. I think I just played it in general. I think the controls in this are really flighty. They remove like the Z button, like sort of crouch stuff, because you have to use that to kind of control the flood.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, the flood I don't think controls well. I don't think it aims well. I think part of the problem is, I don't recall this, but I had read an article saying that on the GameCube it had those more sensitive
the analog triggers.
The analog triggers where you could press it harder or lighter to spray more or less. And in this, you just have like, you can hold the left trigger to stand still and aim a little bit by like tilting up and down on the left stick. The right trigger will just auto spray at, I think, like maximum capacity or something like that. Maybe that's the partial capacity. I'm not sure. And then the like right bumper, the right bumper does it like plants your feet in the ground and sprays. I don't know at what capacity, but different from the right one. And that one's borderline useless. Shit, I'm like not paying attention. I think the controls are just awful. Like, it's really hard to control where the flood is aiming, partially because it's just kind of hard to tell where it's going because it's kind of shooting at an arc. I wish you could just like control it like a third-person shooter where you just like control the camera when you're firing. Just like hold left trigger to aim, right trigger to spray, and just kind of go at it. Pick it up. I think the controls are also just bad, like flighty. Mario jumps, I think, a little too easily. At least
he's Jumpman.
Compared to what I remember, in order to remove like the right trigger or left trigger, like crouching crap. Well, I died. I wasn't really paying attention. Instead, I think he has more access to just kind of like fluid jumping. But that just means like it can be kind of easy to do like some quick like jumps, but at the same time you do them when you don't want to, and when I do want to, they just don't work. Because they're all reliant on just like jiggling the stick and then jumping, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. But the big thing, I think the camera in this game is pretty bad. I've had several moments where I just like can't control it the way I need to, and I don't know exactly what its issue is. And like pull back and zoom in, I think a little too easily. And there are points where like there's just like a wall that prevents me from turning the camera the way I need it to, and I just can't see what I'm doing.
Those early 3D Marios, I feel like, had a lot of those instances of...
I feel like this one, though, is like they all do, but I feel like this one's like late enough in the game.
Because like the 3D, especially, I mean, I remember in 64, like the 3D camera is like a physical thing.
How do I pick this shit up? There are so many things with the controls that I just can't figure out. Like, Mario, just like, pick this up. You did it before. There's these bob-ombs, and he won't... There we go. He just, like, won't pick them up. There's several things where you just have to, like, do something just right. And it's really aggravating. Go in there. But like that crouch backflip, I never realized how much I would miss that thing. Until they just removed it from the game, and instead you have to do this like jerky like loop-de-loop jump, which in theory is nice, but it just doesn't work
as intended.
There's just like so many moments where he just like doesn't do it because you didn't jerk it at like the right angle or speed or whatever. There's also all these stupid fuck no.
My parents might be one.
Well, they've heard me swear before, so it's okay.
I don't do this. I don't swear like that. This is an Andrew thing.
That is absolutely not true. You just behave better on camera. Well, because you're putting me on blast in front of your mom and pa, and your dad is Ozzy Osbourne.
Maybe I'll bite the head off of you.
There's these like platforming levels. Whoops. There's all these platforming levels where they take away the flood and you have to do like classic like Mario shit, and without like the old controls. There's so many like, some of it is just like they're designed to be a challenge, and some of them really freaking are. God damn it. They are like, I was doing one last night for, I kid you not, because I was watching a YouTube video during it, and that YouTube video was roughly half an hour, and I think I started a different YouTube video before it. I did it for like half an hour to 40 minutes. One stupid level, because I just kept screwing up the same stupid spot.
I mean, you're getting your money's worth. That's good.
Oh, fuck. How am I supposed to do that? I think I have to triple jump. This is so hard to control. Camera is not helping me. Alright, over here. Then up here. Why'd you spin? Whew, didn't like that. Cool! Timed that wrong. Gotta start all over.
You're loving it.
I'm hating it. And it plays the same stupid, like, acapella these levels. Sports! Shit. Oh, hey. Coins in this game. Like, I assume 100 coins gets you a
Star.
One up, like they do in previous games. But in this one, I don't remember in 64. But in this one, you don't keep coins between levels. So when you finish a level, all your coins. I need to do it faster than that. All your coins go back to 0. And I don't even think there's 100 coins in a level, because they're very sparse. They're basically just used as health. Fuck. No. All of these levels also apparently have like another one where you have like a time limit to catch red coins. And I don't think I'll ever
remember
do
those.
I don't think I'm ever going to do them, because they're hell just to get to the end, let alone navigate them and collect coins within a time limit. But yeah, I don't see more than, I think, maybe like 10 to 20 coins in a level. And you don't keep them between levels, so I think they exist just as health. But they're not like plentiful to really be useful as health. And since a Mario game kind of teaches you, like, collect coins, that's the point. Well, other than get to the end.
I was gonna say, the point is to rescue Princess Peach.
Like, you know, you want to collect coins because they're everywhere, and that's a good thing to collect coins. But in this, it seems to be like, no, leave the coins. You might need them for health later. So, up until tonight's episode, I am all caught up on...
I think we have 2 more. We have 5... Well, you said there's 5 out, and then 6 tonight?
I believe 6 is tonight.
Yeah, so we're...
Because I watched 5.
We're at... We just finished 4.
Oh my god, just jump, Mario. I don't even know why I'm bothering with this. Why did I do that? 5 was a little more interesting, but it's another like it should have been an anthology episode.
Well, and after reading like a little bit of the Wikipedia, like with the interconnected stories, it kind of is, but the problem is that I can't tell what is an anthology part, like what is a self-contained story beat and what is an overarching story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. Where, like, I don't think the show knows what it wants to be. And I think that's where my biggest hurdle is with it, which I guess is more of a me problem than an it problem. But it doesn't seem to want to be one show. And none of the, like, multiple shows it does want to be are interesting enough to me in their own. I don't think any of, like, as a horror show, I don't think it does any of it well. I would say the 5th episode does a little stuff that's, like, in visuals, some of the best horror it's done, but it wasn't like amazing, and it wasn't anything to write home about. And I wish I knew what it wanted to be, because it's not a horror show. The 4th episode, the one that you hated, which I didn't care for either, but I also didn't pay a ton of attention to because I was playing this. God, this camera is so bad. But that one was almost like it wanted to be an Indiana Jones adventure show.
Right.
Which is what originally I thought the show was going to be, like, some, like, they talked about pulp heroes and everything, and I was like, okay, so this show is going to be like a pulpy,
and that
like,
one was
adventure
pulpy.
show. And that was more in tune of what I thought the show might try and be. I guess I wasn't really expecting them to go crypt hunting, but I thought it was going to be like like I said, a modern road trip sort of like adventure show, and it wasn't. But this was at least like a pulpy thing, but it fit nothing with the rest of the show, outside of it being the most heavy in the actual lore of the show. And I just wish I knew what it wanted to be. It's doing a lot of, like, commentary, which is fine, but it doesn't really seem to be doing anything but commentary. And I guess that's where I see it failing, is it's just commentary, but it's not like using its medium to really tell, outside of the 5th episode, it's not really using its medium to tell any commentary that couldn't be told otherwise, I guess. It's a weird thing to critique it on that, because I'm also not the target audience where that's really going to resonate. I'm just going to look at it and be like, yes, racism is bad. I agree. But it's not going to, like, in the end, like, I just kind of like, I agree with the message. I just don't think the show is the medium for it. Not that the show can't decide to, not that a specific medium or a specific show needs to tell that type of story, but just like that seems to be what the point of the show is.
Right.
And if that's the case, I don't understand, outside of like Lovecraft was racist, so let's take his stuff and turn it back on him. But it's not even like a Lovecraft show. Without the title and like that opening scene that had like a Cthulhu-esque monster,
I agree.
There's nothing truly Lovecraftian about it. It's just generic horror, which again isn't a problem. It's just like, I don't know what it wants to be, and I don't know what it's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a jerk for saying that, because I keep seeing like people love it.
People love it.
And I said before, like, the show feels long. For an hour an episode, HBO shows do typically feel long, for better or for worse. It feels long, and it feels its length. And there are times, like yesterday, I sat down to watch the 5th episode, and I was like, I got about an hour before work. That should be enough time to finish watching that, like to watch this episode. And by the time I had to get ready to leave for work, I was only halfway through. And I was like, how is that even possible? Like, that's not how time works. I looked at how much time I had until I had to leave and how long the episode was. This should not be the case. And it's just, it feels long. And I saw someone on Twitter saying, like, every episode of Lovecraft Country feels long in a good way. And I was like, but does it though? Like, it feels like it's taking its time to not really do or say anything. And like I said, my big problem is I just don't know what it wants to be. It doesn't seem to want to be horror. It doesn't really seem to be wanting to tell an overarching story because it's 5 episodes in and only the first 2 and I guess the 5th one really deal with it. Or not the 5th one, the 4th one. Every episode has like a moment. The ghost one only has like that ending scene. And honestly, the 5th one, it's really the ending scene that honestly moves anything forward. And I'm just baffled also by how, I kind of said this about the first episode and the second episode, really, but how everyone just like takes the supernatural in stride. Like, they are living in the real world, and then they learn about monsters and wizards and magic and everything, and they're just like, yeah, I guess this is just it now. There's ghosts in my house.
I mean, there is some pushback. I don't think it's...
But there's like a pushback of like a scene. And then like...
I think it's a little longer. It's like half an episode, but I think it's disingenuous to say that they're all just like, oh, cool, wow, neat.
Well, they're not saying, oh, cool, wow, neat, but I feel like everyone just kind of like rolls with it. And it feels really weird to me.
I mean, Montrose doesn't. Montrose doesn't. And
I guess by this point, like the main 3, Tick, what's her name, and his dad, they've had enough of it that it's fine. But it's also just like they encounter wizards for the first time, and then suddenly it's like there's ghosts in my house. And I don't know, the whole show feels a little... I think part of it is also the show is really overt. So it's kind of baffling that no one knew that magic existed in the first place, because it is so in your face and everywhere by this point.
I'll agree with that, but I disagree on the pushback.
It's not as bad as like Sinking City, where you literally meet a fish man. You're just like, what's up with your face? And he's just like, all of the Innsmouthers look this way. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool. It's honestly weird that I even asked. And then that's how you treat everything that happens. It's not that bad, but I do feel like everyone just kind of handles it. Like when the wizard thing happens, like Ticket's just like, you guys are wizards. And then they just start doing spells willy-nilly. And I don't know.
I guess I don't really remember going like that, but I mean... I don't know. I disagree. I mean, yeah, he like in the same episode he finds out they're wizards and then they do spells. But I also don't think there was much time for Tick or anyone to react.
I don't know. It's just, and I think I will agree that, like, for the sake of the show, like, there isn't much time for it. But also, it's episode 2 that they go, like, whole hog. And I think that's where my bigger criticism comes is less that everyone takes it in stride and more that the show takes it in stride. Like, the show is just like, there's magic now, and it's fucking everywhere, and we're just rolling with it. And I went, slow down, this is episode 2. And that's part of a bigger problem with episode 2 in general, is like I keep saying, episode 2 is like the finale of a season.
Right.
It is insane how much is crammed into that hour. And episode 5, I think, which you didn't watch it, I think that's another one where I feel like someone... Oh, and as far as your argument goes, like, they react to it, and they react to it and time is given for a little bit of pushback, but at the same time, it feels like for the sake of the show, like everyone needs to just get on board with magic and it needs to happen now. And it's not like I needed an entire episode or everything or anything of this person reeling with the fact that they learned magic is real. But at the same time, it just feels weird that like there is a scene, granted a decent length scene, that establishes everything that needs to be said. But it's also just, as far as I'm concerned, the show is just kind of like playing real fast and loose with this stuff. Also, like, I barely know what happened in the Crypt episode. Like I said, I was not paying a ton of attention. I saw that there was a hermaphrodite Native American, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know exactly what this because they kept referring to her with female pronouns. Not that they wouldn't or shouldn't, but just it was weird to just like establish a character that was a hermaphrodite and then basically ignore that information after like the scene where you see boobies and a peenie. Especially since that character like dies by the end of the episode. I was like, okay, they added a new cast member. This will be interesting. Like, it's weird that like for a show about racism, they do kind of weirdly go into Native American mysticism with, I think, a lack of self-awareness. But I was interested to see what this character would bring to the show, and then they went, oh, nothing. They're not on the show anymore. And then the next episode opens up. Well, actually, I don't think it does open up. I think it's a little bit into it. But, like, with everyone kind of dealing with the fact that this happens, and it's just, again, it's just kind of like, we don't have time to bother with this. So Tick's going to be mad, and then we're just going to move on. I'm going to spend, like, an hour trying to get this stupid blue coin, because Mario doesn't jump out of water, except sometimes. I don't know if you're watching a slideshow still, but there's this area, and I am hammering the jump button. I am hammering the jump button. But Mario only jumps sometimes, and when he does, he doesn't jump anywhere where he can wall jump to get to this stupid fucking coin. All right, I give up.
I will say,
jetpack thing somewhere.
You multitask a lot when you watch things, and I don't think I have problems with Lovecraft Country, and I have a lot of similar problems with Lovecraft Country. But I would be lying if I didn't say I think you're multitasking.
So here's the thing. Episodes 4 and 5 were the only ones I ever multitasked during. And I will say that harmed 4 because I didn't know exactly what was going on. But 5, honestly, like, I followed that one just fine.
Well, then there goes my thought. Because I actually disagree a lot with, well, a lot of what you're saying. I mean, not a ton. And I don't know if it's just like, it sounds more hyperbolic than it actually is, or whatnot. But, and I mean, again, it's not like we share different opinions on this. Neither of us really love it.
I just realized. You were saying?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't even know how much it is to go in it. It's just, I feel like I don't know. I guess I just don't have as many minor criticisms.
If you're pausing a bunch.
I'm pausing a bunch because I don't know what to say. I mean, I actually disagree with you a lot on it. I don't think it's a great show. I have my own problems with it. I have a lot of your similar problems with it, mainly in the fact that like I can't tell what it wants to be, and it just kind of jumps around a lot. It shows, not tells a lot. Doesn't really like. It shows too much for a horror show and stuff like that. But a lot of your like small criticisms, like with nobody seems to care that there's magic and like there's wizards that do stuff and then they like shooting spells and then there's like a ghost and it's like, well, what? I feel like
I will say my big thing with it, that whole thing with magic, it's mostly that they're not globetrotting, which I thought they would be, or at least...
See, and I guess I feel like
traveling.
A lot of your criticisms are based on something that the show never even tried to do.
I mean, that's fair, but at the same time, I can still not like it. I don't have to... I'm not saying that the show claimed to be that, and all I'm saying is my big thing with the magic, and it honestly comes down to that ghost episode, is that ghost episode, they go back home where everything should be normal. And then, granted, it was manipulated by a wizard lady, but...
Why should everything be normal?
What?
Why should everything be normal?
Because it was normal before they fucking left. They left and went to Artem, and that's where spooky shit was. That's not to say that spooky shit can't be elsewhere, but it's that thing, it's that thing where once the characters know, it's suddenly everywhere. And granted, the ghost thing was manipulated by Wizard Lady, but the fact that in their like hometown, there's just like this super crazy ghost house with 1 million ghosts feels really small to me. Like everybody's a Jedi small.
I disagree. I mean, I think... I disagree.
Because I feel like... I mean, maybe Wizard Lady's gonna keep manipulating stuff, but I feel like if they're not going to leave, then like... I guess I just don't understand, like, what the world is. And I mean, in the end, I don't like the show. I don't hate it. I just kind of fucking shit. Are you kidding me? It's just kind of whatever to me. I don't love it, don't hate it. I'll keep watching it. I'll at least watch the season, but I don't think I'll care enough to come back for a season 2 unless it
I
really
probably won't
surprises
either.
me. But I'm in it enough. I've got HBO. Like, I'm in it enough to at least finish out the season. It's not, like, offending me. It's not, like...
I think, and I could be off the mark here, I feel like a lot of it is that it's not the show you wanted it to be. And so...
I feel like we have these conversations a lot where I'm just kind of talking about things, and you're just like... think that it comes down to your brain wants thing and you don't have thing, and so
it's because we're kind of at an impasse where
I feel like you always have to justify our impasses though, and it always has to be like there's something wrong with Andrew.
No, it's not that there's something wrong with Andrew, it's that I genuinely just disagree with a lot of your complaints, and I can't...
That's what an opinion is.
Right, but I mean, that's why it's an impasse. I don't know what more you want me to say other than I genuinely think you are wrong in criticizing it for these things. It's your opinion to do so. And so, whatever. I think there's things to complain about Lovecraft Country, and I think it's crazy. I think the ones that stick out to you are just like, okay, there's nothing to say about it because I genuinely disagree. And like you being like, oh, it's like everybody's a Jedi. Well, I disagree. Like I honestly don't see the problem Like, it doesn't feel like everyone's a Jedi. It, like...
Well, I'm not saying everyone's a Jedi and that everyone can use magic. I'm just saying, like...
I know that. You're saying
the
that
world
it's
feels small.
But what do you... Like...
Honestly?
They go to Artem. There's magic. There's magic. It's Lovecraft country. There's magic. There's Lovecraft magic in the country. Like...
I don't disagree with that. My thing is, they don't travel the country, dude. They go to Artem and then they go home.
That's
and then
fine.
home is like crazy magic.
Home
and
is,
I would understand, like, in the at least
home
in
is
the,
crazy
in the,
magic, and that there is a house with ghosts in it.
like a million billion ghosts. That's
Hey,
like the
here's the
center
thing.
of like the like. There's something with the wizards. I honestly don't remember what the wizards wanted with it. There's like a book in there or something. I don't remember.
It's because
And
one
I
of
just-
the guys that was...
I don't know. My thing is, like, I honestly, it should be.
I think
like,
you're
traveling
unfair
the
to it.
country. I probably am. Like, I'm not saying I'm being fair. I'm just saying, like, this is the kind of shit that I don't like in shows, in books and movies and stories. Like, I honestly would have preferred, and again, this just comes down to preference. Like, this is my preference. I guess I have to preface that.
Well, I
It
don't
should have
know.
been a cross-country show. It
I don't
should have
know
been,
what
like,
you want me to say. Like, I don't have any... I'm trying to have a conversation, and we are. And I'm not trying to... I know... The last time we had a conversation like this, I felt really bad because you're like, stop yelling at me, you're yelling at me. I'm not trying to yell at you.
I'm not saying you're yelling at me.
I'm just trying to be a little proactive here. And I am getting into a point where I'm like, I feel like I can't say anything. Because every time I do, you start talking over. And a lot of it is cyclical here. But I just don't know. Like, I want to have a conversation. I just don't know what that conversation is because you're... Honestly, it feels like you're predisposed to dislike the show, which is totally fair. But so I don't know what to say because everything you're just like, I don't like this because it's not this. Okay, that's fine, but the show is not that. Okay, but it's not that, so I don't like it.
Okay, but I mean, we've had the exact same conversation with you on the opposite end of this.
And it sucks for you.
I mean, in the end, like, I guess the thing is, I always feel like you really seem to care when I don't share your opinion. And that's where I guess my frustration with this conversation right now is, and granted, it's not like you're mad, but it seems like you don't want to just like disagree. You want to prove that I'm wrong. And maybe you don't, but that's how these conversations often
I guess
feel.
to me, it feels...
Where I'm just like, I just want to talk about my opinion and you talk about yours, and then we disagree, and then we like, if we feel like there's a discussion in that disagreement, then we have it. But it feels like if I don't end the conversation by going, you know what, Seth, you are right, and I was wrong, then you want to like keep going. Because we had the same thing on the podcast too. There were times where I was just like, I don't care enough to argue this, but I feel like that's what you want out of me.
I guess I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, I don't know what to say either. Like, I'm not mad, and I'm not trying to...
I'm not either. I
fight
just
with
don't know
you.
what to say. You don't like it. That's fair. I don't like it. That's fair. There we go.
Shit.
I mean, I think you're wrong on a lot of your points, but it's your opinion, so whatever.
I mean, that's fine.
That's where this whole conversation has been going, is that, you know, I think, you know, I genuinely think you are wrong in your opinion on some of this stuff and how it played out. But it's your opinion. So that's all I can say, you know, and kind of like you were saying about like, well, you're always trying to make it seem like I'm wrong in my opinion. And it's like, well, sometimes I genuinely feel like you are wrong. It's not just like, oh, I just don't really care for Tick's character. It's like, Tick should be like, remember the beginning when he wanted to be like a pulp hero? He's not a pulp hero.
I
No.
guess
And it's like, okay,
Again,
but that's
I'm
not what it is. That's not his character.
I guess that's where I'm getting a little pissed with this. Is that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like
and I also feel like there's a lot of times where when we get into these, I don't know if I just suck at listening or you just suck at talking or a mixture of both, but I feel like every one of these conversations goes like this, where it's like you say something and I take it what I think is point blank, and you're like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And it's like, okay. Like,
I'm just talking. Like, in the end, the show, I think...
In the end, we both don't like the show.
I guess, in the end, the show should have been an adventure show. That's more the show I'm interested in. That's not what the show is, and that's not... I think the show is worse for it, but that's not to say that the show is bad because it's not the show I wanted it to be. I'm just not as interested in it, and I think it seems to, like, veer between wanting to be that show and wanting to be something different, and I can't tell what the hell it wants to be.
I agree.
I don't need Tick to be an adventurer. I felt in the first episode that with all the talk of pulp shit, that was what the, like, that's generally when you do that.
Well,
that's
I was using that as an
this
example.
Is what the show is going to be.
I was using that as an example.
Ah, fuck, I missed it. I hate this camera.
I think you're wrong to say that, like, now there's magic everywhere, the world's too small, magic should only be in Artem.
I don't even think that. Like,
you said you didn't like how... You said it was bad because when they went back to Chicago, there was magic there.
I didn't... Again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it feels small because... Like, I don't know.
But that's a problem.
I don't have a problem with them finding magic elsewhere and finding magic back home. It just feels like to just go home and suddenly there's a season's worth of magic. Granted, maybe they'll leave again. I don't know. But
they did already leave.
To really have only like 3 locations, the crypt, their hometown, and Artem, like, for 5 episodes to have all this magic shit happening just feels like a lot. And they're not even like searching. Well, I guess the crypt they were, but like the ghost thing, they weren't really searching for it. And again, that's a little unfair of me because it was manipulated by Wizard Lady. But it's also just, I don't know.
You don't like it.
I don't get it. Like, I don't know. I don't get the show. I don't like the show. I don't hate the show. God damn this game.
The conversation's probably not helping it either.
Well, there's like, I think the camera in this game is bad, and I think the controls are not great. Like, the controls are fine because Mario is always kind of flighty, which is always kind of my issue with him. So they're not. But I think he's a little more flighty in this one because they removed some of that rigid, like I said, they removed like the crouching thing, and I don't know how everyone else played Mario 64, but for me, like, I did that crouching backflip like all the time because it was the easiest way to get somewhere.
Well, that was like his move.
It was like the most control you had over where he was going.
Mm-hmm.
And this one kind of removes that. Well, it completely removes that. Instead, it just gives him like a sidewinder flip, his triple jump, which I never really used triple jump because it's weird to try and time that out. And like his wall jump. But like none of it all feels like super loose. Like I've said before, like getting him to do that sidewinder jump, sometimes he just doesn't do it. And I'm sure it's because I'm like not necessarily inputting the motion correctly, but it's really difficult to tell what I need to do and what I'm doing wrong. Same thing with, like, sometimes he just does not wall jump, and I can't figure out why. He also no longer jumps out of water unless he is, like, against something, like the edge of the water, but only sometimes. There are certain times he won't, like, there's these lily pads in this one pond in a level. He will not jump on them. I don't even understand what they're there for because they're not spaced out close enough that you can like jump from lily pad to lily pad, really. So you can't get out of the water unless you swim all the way to the other side of the pond. And there's a blue coin in the middle of this stupid like structure, And the way to get it is obviously you have to jump from the water and wall jump up it. But in order to jump out of the water, you have to jump right as you're like against the side of the thing. But since you can swim underneath it, because it's above the water slightly, Mario will only jump if you basically move and time it perfectly. But then every time I've been able to time his jump right, he's not in a position to wall jump next. And I just don't know what the fucking game wants from me. And there's just like a ton of things where like I can't tell where I am in relation to stuff. And so getting jumps right is really hard. The camera is really unwieldy, and there are several times where the camera just doesn't want to turn. And so I'm trying to get these blue coins. Ah! Get down. I have 2 red coins left to find, and then there's blue coins, which I don't know what they're like in most games because I haven't really played it. Like, there's this blue coin just floating in the air, and I have no way of telling where I am in relation to it once I jump. I think I'm over top of it. Fuck! No, I wasn't. A lot of Super Mario Sunshine has been moseying around the same area over and over and over and over.
I don't really
trying
remember
to do
too
one
much of...
stupid jump. And then missing that jump. And then having to navigate all the way back to where I needed to go so I can try that jump again.
I feel like all the 3D Marios were like that. But then again, I don't have a big 3D Mario knowledge.
I feel like my memory of 64 is limited. But for the most part, I felt like those, like, the controls and everything were great because it's a game of its time.
Mm-hmm.
But like Sunshine, I feel like they should have known better. I feel like the levels are kind of like small and big at the same time. They're not very large, like landscape wise, but they're like kind of sparse. And honestly, like outside of like finding any blue coins, it's really just like you can do the one star that you, or sunshine thing that you chose at the beginning of the level. And that's like really your only option. There's not really much to see or do, which means sometimes like you only have to like, you don't even have to leave the starting area sometimes, or you just like navigate through to go to one area and then you just stay there.
But don't the levels open up like as you do things? I feel like that was a thing.
Sometimes it's like you can get to a different area on a different like sunshine, but not a ton.
I remember running around and like cleaning up the sludge.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing is, there we go. I remember there being a bunch of like sludge cleaning, and that's not really a thing.
Huh.
Outside of like in Delfino Plaza, like each new area means there's like a sludge thing that you have to take care of. How do I jump? Just, I'm gonna lose my mind. But sludge cleaning isn't really a thing. It's not like something you have to do to progress through a level. In fact, there's several levels where there isn't really much at all, or it's only for like the first sunshine, and then after that, there's no more. And I actually think the sludge is a pain in the ass because the controls for the flood, I think, are.
I remember people hating this. Like one of the only things I remember from Super Mario Sunshine is everyone hating the sludge.
I thought it would be really neat to clean all that stuff up, and it would be fun. But it's not really a thing, and since the sludge just like spawns monsters that create more sludge, it makes aiming even harder because like to do finite aiming, you kind of have to plant your feet in the ground. And that makes that gets really difficult when you have like sludge monsters just spawning all the fucking time. How do I get up there? There we go. But I mean, I've been enjoying my time with it, but it
sounds like it.
I don't know. I hate everything. I hate Lovecraft Country. I hate this. I hate our friendship, apparently.
No, I say that because you've been just swearing at it for the last hour.
I mean, this is how I play every Mario game, even Odyssey, which
This is how you play every game, honestly.
This is how I'm a angry gamer.
You are.
Fuck. I just can't judge where I am, and I think that's partially a camera problem and partially just an Andrew problem. I don't know where I am in life. Why would I know where I am in the game? But I just can't. I'm also someone who like bullheadedly will just like continue trying to do the same stupid.
Trying to like brute force it?
Yeah, basically. Like I'll just keep doing the same stupid challenge over and over again because I refuse to let it beat me. As if it's gonna like go home and brag to its friends, who all also know me.
I mean, to be fair, you never beat something and then brag to me.
What?
You never beat something and then brag to me.
That's because I don't beat things. Can I climb this? There are also like certain things you can climb and certain things you can't. And the determination on what you can and can't is really just like the game deciding like that's not a climbable thing.
Yeah, I think we're getting closer and closer to things needing to be remastered because we've progressed so much further as
society,
as a video game industry.
Yeah, originally I was like, I don't think this game needs to be remastered. And I kind of land in that still, where I'm like, I don't know. I think without like fully redesigning the entire game, like the Ratchet and Clank remaster, I never played the original one, but it felt like a modern game. Felt like a modern game, granted with some like slightly archaic, not even archaic, but like some older ideas, but it felt modernized. But I feel like this isn't just like, let's upscale the graphics and redesign it. Like, you would have to like fully redesign the controls,
right,
the camera, the jumping mechanics. I think this game would have to basically be built from the ground up. Because, I mean, there's like the HD remasters of Kingdom Hearts, and they fixed the cameras in that, but I mean, even the cameras are still awful. They're just not as awful as they were when I played them on the PS2.
And I know there's a limitation. I mean, I know you can't do what I said because of what you're saying. I mean, these games were... I mean, even you hear the argument of, like, oh, these should all be 60 frames per second, but there's a lot of older games that are tied to that frame rate. Like, that just wouldn't work outside of the, like, 24 or 30 frames per second. But I mean, it is a lot harder to just kind of like go back to these, especially like the N64, and I mean, I imagine Galaxy would still work fairly well, but I can't imagine 64 doesn't have its fair share of problems. And I mean, yeah, hey, if we can just port it, as opposed to just designing a new game that is Super Mario Sunshine, it's way, way cheaper to port.
I kind of wish they ported the 3DS version, just because it had like extra characters.
Yeah, I was reading stuff like that too.
But it's not like it's not a big deal in the end. Like, I don't really care. Like I said, if it wasn't part of the bundle, if I could have just bought, you know, Sunshine and Galaxy for like $15 each, I would have just done that. But since it was part of a $60 package, they're probably going to sell them, if not for $20 each, for over that, if they do that at all.
Right.
Since this limited time thing might mean they might pull a Disney and just not release it.
Everything goes into the vault all the time.
So that's kind of why I went for it, because I was like, if I knew that they were going to just release the other two and it would be like $20 each, then I would just pay $40 for these two and skip out on 64. But since it's almost guaranteed if they're going to do it at all, they're probably going to up it by $5. Because why else would you create this bundle as a limited release if you weren't going to sell them for a higher price individually? And at that point, like, I'd rather just spend the extra $10 if they're going to be $25 each, which I assume they would. I'd rather spend the extra $10 and just get 64 and just have it. Like, whatever. Especially because I honestly have no idea that this is going into the vault and to never be seen again.
Probably. Nintendo loves doing weird crap like that. Remember the Ambassador games? Where they're like, hey, we made these games for these GBA games for the 3DS, but you can only get it if you get the 3DS opening week.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, the 3DS had a whole bunch of GBA games. And if you were an early adopter, you got them, but they never released them outside of that.
Huh. I mean, Nintendo is the Disney of video games. How do I kill this guy? Thought I'd jump on his head.
Yeah, if you bought the 3DS before the price dropped, then you got Super Mario. You got these Nintendo games.
Stop doing your stupid flippy jump, Mario.
You got Super Mario Bros., Metroid, Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, Balloon Fight, Ice Climber, NES Open Tournament Golf, Donkey Kong Jr., Yoshi, Wrecking Crew. You also got Metroid Fusion, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mario Kart Super Kart, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, WarioWare Inc., Mega Micro Games, The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap, Fire Emblem, The Sacred Stones, Wario Land 4, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. And they never released those, like, for anything else. They didn't even, like, individual sales or anything like that.
I bought a 3DS, I thought, when they first came out. That's the other thing with like Nintendo games. Like, if I'm interested in a Nintendo game, usually like I may as well buy it when I'm interested in it, because
it's not going to go on sale.
Yeah, outside of like a Black Friday sale, or every once in a while Nintendo will have their huge sales where like a game from 10 years ago
is $45.
Yeah, drops
instead
from
of 60
to 45. I remember like Skyward Sword, I never played it because I heard it wasn't great, and I kept going like, I'll get it on sale, and it never dropped below like $50.
Because it's a Nintendo game. Doesn't need to.
And like they have sales now with like, I bought a bunch of games, and now like there's the occasional sale where you can get like Mario Kart for like $45 or like Splatoon.
But Mario Kart is also like a 6-year-old game.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's like I had to wait this long to get it on sale. Like, I don't need to wait, but that's just like the thing with Nintendo is like, there's that Hyrule Warriors, which is the game where I'm like, yeah, like I'd probably be fine waiting on it, but it's Hyrule Warriors. It's never going to go on sale.
I mean,
so I may as well just get it.
Mario Kart is literally 6 years old, and they're still selling it for $60. It's crazy.
What's supposed to do with this thing? That's just the Nintendo model.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I kind of every now and then with Nintendo games, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, I'll pick it up because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've probably justified too many purchases because I'm just like, what's $60 now versus $60 later?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I may as well just play
at
it
least
now
like
while...
indie game. I mean, non-Nintendo developed games go on sale, and so. And honestly, I guess I don't buy too many like Nintendo published or developed. I mean, I guess I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of them though where I look at it and I go, I was really interested in was it Yoshi's Crafted World or whatever, but I was like, that's not a game, like that's a game I'll beat in a weekend probably, and I was like, that's not a game I need to pay full price for.
Right. So I guess you'll just never buy it.
Yeah, it's something where it's like if Black Friday comes and I can find it for cheap, but like honestly, as cheap as it's gonna go, I don't think it's going to be
cheap enough.
Worth it to me. And like, I picked up Luigi's Mansion because Kyle was interested in it, and it had multiplayer, but the multiplayer wasn't all that interesting.
That's too bad. I like the Luigi stuff. I haven't played it, but I like the idea of it, I guess.
Part of it was just like the online stuff was not really
because it's Nintendo.
Anything to write home about. And like, I played it and I enjoyed my time with it, but in the end I was like, that didn't need to be a $60 purchase from me. If I didn't have the Nintendo Fun Bucks from that pre-purchase thing, like, same thing with, I got Paper Mario was my last voucher. I played it the weekend it came out and I haven't touched it since, and I enjoyed it, but I just kind of like,
I thought you didn't. I never know. This is
I had problems with it, but I enjoyed my time with it and I want to finish it. But
I always have a hard time. You always complain that everyone thinks you hate everything, and I feel bad.
I guess because I don't give like black and white.
No, answer. I know, but I feel like I always talk to you, and I never hear much like praise on certain things, and you always seem more annoyed with everything.
I'm annoyed with everything always.
I know, so that's why I feel like I know you get annoyed when people are like, when you're like, I like things, and just because I like talk about negatives about them doesn't mean I don't like it, and I agree with that, and I understand, but I feel like a lot of times I'm just like thinking back on our Paper Mario stuff, you just like, I don't remember any one positive, and you just kind of complained about it, and you were frustrated with it, and then you never played it again.
In the end, I get distracted easily. And I think it came out like a week before Avengers did or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, it came out and I got Final Fantasy around the same time. And then I was like, I'm going to play Final Fantasy because that's more interesting to stream because people are going to see me cuss a lot at Paper Mario because...
Now look at you.
Paper Mario is... I think the story is fun. I think the game is fun. Like, the combat's interesting. But the combat as the game needed to be an RPG. And I guess this goes back to, like, I'm judging it for the game it
or
isn't.
not, it isn't.
But at the same time, like, the game used to be an RPG, and it needs to be an RPG because at some point at Nintendo, they decided the Mario and Luigi games were the RPGs, and Paper Mario was just going to be like the fun, weird experiment games, which is fine. But it still has the RPG trappings without any of the reason to do the RPG bullshit. Like, the reason you do, like, the battles and everything in an RPG is you get experience and you get stronger and you get better equipment, and, like, there's a progression. So while the battles may not be super interesting in their own right, you're at least, like, there's value in doing them because you're getting stronger. In Paper Mario, on the what is it, Origami King,
you get coins, which you can use to buy.
You have to expend items to do battle. You get coins which you can use to buy more items, but you don't necessarily get stronger. You get a little more health after, like, the big important boss battles, but you don't get stronger.
But can't you use coins to, like, slow down the puzzle time?
Yeah, but at that point, like, why bother with the battles? Like, it reached the point where I was just like, there's not like, the battles are fun, but the timer makes them like, they're a fun puzzle, but the timer makes them frustrating. Because as soon as you put a ticking timer on it, my brain doesn't work anymore. Right. And that's a personal problem with me. But, like, once there's a ticking timer, my brain stops functioning. And so a puzzle that I could probably solve in, like, 10 seconds, you put a 30-second timer on there, and I get frazzled.
That's why that's why they put the timer on.
And it's just
there.
something. What?
That's why they put the timer on.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, in the end, there's no reason to do battles because I'm not progressing. It's just taking up more time because they're slow. Because it's not just like jumping on an enemy and they die. It's you jump on an enemy, and then you have to wait for the battle to start, and then you have to do the battle, and then you have to, like, wait everybody's turn, and it's just more time that doesn't need to be in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little unfair to hold that against the game. Just grab that, Mario. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I'm not really. The boss battles are a change of pace that are interesting, but they're also just, like, they're a different type of puzzle that I keep, like, screwing up little things because I miss details in the. Because you have to kind of, like, make a path for Mario.
Yeah. They're like the reverse of the regular battles.
And I always, like, miss a single detail because I'm just, like, trying to get through it quickly because there's a timer. And then I just, like, overlook that, like, I thought Mario was going to hit a thing that he didn't, or that a certain thing wouldn't stop him, but it did, or a certain thing would stop him, but it didn't, or I just didn't see that this thing was in the path, and I don't know. I enjoy it, and at some point I'll go back to it, but I was just kind of frustrated with it, and I just was more interested in playing, like, Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
I jumped back on Animal Crossing for the first time, and
I have not played it in forever.
I wish I could control the nozzle, because to run and shoot, you only shoot, like, full blast, which means, like, if I'm too close to Baby Bowser Jr., my spray will go over him.
Gross. I'll let you keep spraying Baby Bowser. Isn't it Bowser Jr.?
Yeah, I think it is Bowser Jr.
I think I'm gonna call it here. Playing Star Wars Imperial Assault with a buddy later.
I downloaded that, and then you said you started playing it, and it wasn't good, and I never bothered playing it.
No, this is the...
Oh, wait, the board game.
Yeah. The, like, Star Wars Descent.
I assume on BGG, or on Board Game Simulator.
On tabletops. Board games.
Tabletop.
Not a thing.
I'm embarrassed.
And I just finished the second.
You befriended a Yoshi. Make him eat with Y.
I'll make him eat. Forcing it.
You gotta make him eat with Y and then
It's like that
fill him
scene.
with
It's like that
juice.
scene from Harry Potter where Dumbledore has to drink the water. And he... Rise. Well, I'm gonna deafen you. I'm gonna deafen you and close this out, and then I'll back for a little bit. All right. Well, I did Flumby and Lady Marabella. I'll probably next Sunday do the bad guy. I don't think I ever named him. Stafford, I think his name was. And then like the guard design. Hopefully you enjoyed us arguing about Lovecraft Country, a show we both don't like. But yeah, tomorrow I need to double check with Colin to make sure that Arkham Horror is a thing, but that's kind of set up for that. Tuesday I'm gonna try Townsfolk Tussle, which is like a rubber hose animation boss battler. Like the theme. I like boss battlers. We have Kingdom Death, so I don't know if oh, hello. Dad, I don't know when that message came through. And then Wednesday we're playing Eminent Domain. I am actually off this week, so I might be streaming a little bit sporadically, but those are kind of the core ones, and I'll definitely be around for those. What else? I don't think there is anything else. Oh, I guess as you saw today, we started at noon. We're going to push back our Saturday, Sunday weekend streams to noon, just to help Andrew get a little bit more time for work and stuff. So you can watch those at noon. Those will all be changed and everything like that. But yeah, if you like this, as always, tell a friend, interact with the social media links below, like, share, subscribe, bell, all that stuff. It's really cool to see. Really cool to see people show up for that. So yeah, I'll be back sometime tomorrow, and definitely at 8. Thanks. Yeah, I didn't think the comic came out too bad. I think it had some problems, but it was done in 24 hours. But the nice thing is to kind of look at it as like, okay, well, my subconscious kind of made it do that. Which I guess I can't complain too much. And it was nice to see that 10 years later I can do 10 years later worth of better stuff. But in the meantime, I'm going to head out here and go from there. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope to see you later in the week and stuff like that. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your day, and have a good one.